Good morning, this is the Desert Shaman, Roger Thunder, and it is May 15th, which incidentally is my birthday, which I said in my last video. So my last video was a little bit frustrated because now I know I got people on here that want to know about the war and what's going on. There's some, not a whole lot, but some that follow this stuff day by day, minute by minute, to see what exactly is going on here, because that is the biggest news story right now. I mean, yeah, you got the financial crisis and all that stuff. So let me just say that that last video was kind of made out of frustration because of the just huge amount of uh, information that's coming in from all kinds of sources. And I said that I listened to Colonel Douglas McGregor a lot, and I said that I listened to, well, I didn't mention it yesterday or last night, but I listened to Ray McGovern, who seems to have a pretty good handle on it, ex-CIA agent. I think, if you really want to know what's going on right now, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Basically, that's what's happening. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors. So if you watch every day, let's say on the military channels, you see that there is large incremental movements by the Russians. Okay, large attacks with drones and missiles and bombs from bombers, and basically the Ukraine's air defense system is almost null and void. Then on the other side, you got Britain sending missiles, storm cloud, or something with storm in it. These storm missiles, which which have a greater potential for reaching. In fact, they can easily reach more inland in Russia to like Moscow and several air bases there, and it can also hit the poor people of Donetsk and Luhansk. The range is greater. The furthest range they had was 60 miles. Now it's about 150 miles. But during this whole thing, yes, they came out of the woodwork with these missiles, but they had these missiles before, and so that just goes to show you the smoke and mirrors, because they said, "Oh, we're going to get the missiles from Britain." Britain is an antagonist here. They're doing all kinds of things to antagonize the situation by giving giving Ukraine some longer range missiles. And what else did they give them? They gave them tainted, what do you call it, nuclear tipped radiation type ammunition. Okay, not nuclear warfare, but radiated ammunition. The term slips me right now, sorry, but there's a specific term for that. But basically what it is armor piercing shells and things that have depleted uranium. There I go. That's the word I was looking for. So what's going on right now is a huge slugfest. Okay, and the different parties are trying to slant it in their favor, and they're also pulling smoke and mirror type operations. Even the Russians are having one of their guys, who's the head of the Wagner or the Wagner group. Seemingly, it looks like he's flying off the handle, and he's getting mad at his own generals in Russia, and that he's saying he doesn't have enough ammunition, and on and on and on, like a big soap opera. Yet the same guy is making advancements to capturing the city of Bakhmut, which is almost captured now. It's pretty much a couple blocks left, okay? But the Russians are seemingly letting this head of Wagner mouth off. Why? Because it's smoke and mirrors. Because they want to give the impression to the Ukrainians that, oh, they're weak, or they're having arguments amongst themselves, or they're running out of ammunition, because that's one of the things that the head of Wagner, Prigozhin, his name is Prigozhin, he's a real character. He's a great actor. He's a great actor because he's doing all this stuff on orders. It's not that he's dissatisfied or disgruntled or any of that shit. He's doing this on orders from the Kremlin or from Putin to say, hey, you know, go out there and act disgruntled and go out and make us look kind of weak in this area, for the specific purpose of drawing in more Ukrainian troops to thinking that, oh yeah, we can attack now, this is a good time to attack. These are tactics of war. These are typical tactics of war, smoke and mirrors. They call it the fog of war. The fog of war, smoke and mirrors, baby. That's what it is. And so, you know, sometimes when I'm perusing my intel base, I get frustrated because there is so much crap. And then there's guys that are purportedly out there wanting to give you information and using clickbait and using words to make you go on there and think, oh yeah, something really big's happening. Like today I went to the military channel. I forget the name exact, it's a Russian guy, but in order to get more views, you know, he puts on there nuclear tragedy. And then when you go in there, you find out that it was no nuclear tragedy. It was just that the Russians blew up a place and there was a slight spike in radiation, and supposedly this guy was saying it was because they struck a main ammo depot that had radiated stuff in it, like the aforementioned depleted uranium shells that Britain is giving to Russia. Okay. I'm telling you right now, the Brits are fucked up as far as supporting supporting Ukraine by sending them all kinds of additional things to drag this thing on. What next? Okay, and this thing is dragging on way too long. I am of the opinion that Russia should end this and end it right the fuck now and get it over with. Because the longer they wait, the more little games that can come up, the more smoke and mirrors, the more NATO nations are going to supply weapons and, longer range missiles. What's next? F-16s from America, which they're trying to get. Incidentally, Zelensky hasn't been the head of Ukraine. The president hasn't been in Kiev, the capital where he lives. He hasn't been there for weeks, ever since the attack that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, the attack on the Kremlin by a drone hitting the dome of the palace there, the Kremlin, the Senate building, where sometimes Putin stays. That's another thing. Both jumped on the bandwagon about, oh, this is an assassination attempt. The Russians said it was an assassination attempt and we will respond in kind at some point of our choosing. Well, what is that kind going to be? Is it going to be taking out Zelensky? Is that why he's running all over Finland and Germany and all this shit and never coming home? So the reason that I ever started following this shit is because it's fun for me as a strategist to watch this stuff. Also, although sometimes, like I said in my last video, strategy goes right out the window. You can't figure this shit out. There's too many double blinds, a double blind kind of intel or a double blind kind of propaganda. That's the word I'm looking for here. I'm going to start partying today. I'm going to start partying. This is my birthday. I'm going to go and do some things that are fun for me, like altering my consciousness. And I've already done my morning routine. Shit, I might have a gummy today, or I might have a little hit of herb, or I might have a beer too, or some wine, or why not? Let's party. So I just wanted to confirm my last video about, I seem frustrated because of all the bullshit. And when you follow this stuff, you have it up to here, really. It's really ridiculous. I mean, in order to follow it, you have to put up with the frustration of seemingly watching paint dry, because there is no big arrow incidents here. Not really, not yet. It's just it's like both sides are stagnated. Yes, the Russians are making profound progress in certain areas along the front line, but you don't even need the front line. I said this before. This could be over in a day or two. Could be over in a day or two. All Russia has to do is pull out all the stops. Pull out all the stops and get this shit over with. So that we don't have to talk about it anymore. And I don't really want to talk about it anymore, but hell, what are you going to do? I can't help myself. How's that? Can't help myself because I have this curious mind. And I have this mind of wanting to know what's going on. And I have also the obligation, because there are followers on this channel, listeners or subscribers that like to hear what's going on. And they can't really do it all the time. They're not able to. So I hope that's appreciated here. The sweat and the toil by thunder to have to search around, and here's another thing too. The Washington Post, the mouthpiece of the CIA. Basically, it's the mouthpiece of the CIA. That and the New York Times. They put out the most ludicrous propaganda stories as well. Oh, this Prigozhin, the same guy that lipped off to his own commanders. This Prigozhin is a traitor, and he's had meetings with the other side, the Ukrainian side, and he's ready to sell out the Russians. And this is just a total fucking lie and a total fucking propaganda put out by the Washington Post for other reasons too. Just like I said in my last video, this is a World War III. It's not a World War III on tanks and missiles, and it is that. It could get to be even worse. But it's a World War III propaganda war. And that war has been ramped up on steroids overwhelmingly for the last year. Okay? The last year, the war propaganda, the fog of war, the Winds of War. Incidentally, that was a great series, The Winds of War. So, yeah, I just wanted to clarify and come on, and for the people that I know watch this stuff and want to know about this stuff, and I know that I get frustrated sometimes, and I just go, fuck it. I don't even want to fucking talk about it anymore. Because it's so fucking, you do this stuff. I do this stuff as a strategist. Let's say it's like a game that I play that is entertaining to me if there's some kind of movement in it. I mean, it is pure entertainment. We all know this stuff is complete bullshit, and It's a phony reality. It's not real. Nothing is real. This is Maya, the delusion, the illusion, the delusion within the illusion. It's all it's a non sequitur, man. It's irrelevant. It's a wow. It's irrelevant, but it's fun to watch. But at some point, it gets boring. You know what I mean? It gets boring. It's like, really? I mean, you look at the absurdity of some of the shit that's going on, and it's like, these people are juvenile, infantile, penis brain assholes, is what they are. They have nothing better to do than sit around and create wars and kill people and put out propaganda and lies on everything. On everything. And the propaganda, once you get wind, once you know how it works, once you know the neuro-linguistic programming and the hypnotic techniques and the mass marketing techniques and all of this shit, it gets boring because you see right through it. You spot it before it even comes. When you spot agendas, you see where they're going with this and where they're going with that. And yeah, they put things on slow burn purposely to create anxiety and to create this, yeah, I got to find out what's happening next, man. Oh, what's today going to bring? Oh, I mean, there's scores of people, there's hundreds, there's thousands of people following this stuff. Now, that's not to say that the majority of the population is like that. It's a good sign that there's that many people following these channels and trying to find out the truth. But most of the people in the United States, particularly, are brain dead. They're not following this shit. They could hardly find Ukraine on a map. Or, like I said before, they'd be lucky if they can find the fucking United States on a map. That's how illiterate and dumbed down these people are. So I'm glad that I'm able to be one of the people to disseminate information on this level. I consider it a purpose, and like the town crier, only I'm not a talking head. I always give you a spiritual insight as to how they're doing things and how to get beyond the things and how to transcend things. Okay. So it is a two-edged sword. I mean, here I am telling you to transcend things, and I'm giving you information, but at the same time, I have told you in the past that you have to transcend things, so I'm giving you the information, just like, hey, maybe they just want to know, they're not going to get fearful. I've said many times, fear is the weapon, and really, when you get into it, fear is the weapon on everything. It's fear that you have of certain things within yourself, fear of thinking certain ways, fear of death, fear of war, fear of illness, fear of what other people think, fear of what you think of yourself. I mean, this just goes on and on and on. Is there a healthy fear? No, I'd say there isn't. I mean, I'm going to go right out on a limb here and say there is no fucking healthy fear. Not really. Now, there's awareness, which is like, if you're going to put your hand in a fire or a flame, are you afraid you're going to get burned? No, you're going to get burned. So it doesn't have to be fear, okay? Oh, but fear is how we learn stuff. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. Who needs fear? Fear. Fear is just you know what it is? It's just it's a shock. It's an energy shock. It's a impulse. It's a flight or fright. It's the heart feels it and it gets oh, I'm afraid, or that scared me, or, say a firecracker or a cherry bomb goes off in the next fucking 2 minutes next door to you or wherever, you jump with fear. What was that? Well, say, do you want that? Do you want that? What is that, man? Do you want that feeling all the time? Because that's what you're getting on a subtle level. That's what you're getting on a subtle level when you get fearful about even little things like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That's naughty, or that's profane, or I better not even think that way. What is that? That's fear. That's fear as well. Fear of displeasing a part of yourself, or fear of venturing out on a limb that is not one that is connected to the tree of society or whatever. It's all about fear, and fear is what causes all the problems. All the problems, and they use it continually. The government, that's who they are, and the oligarchs and the people in control. They want you to fear, okay? They want you to feel fear all the time. Fuck you and your fear. That's what you have to say. Fuck you and your fear. It ain't going to ruin my day. It's not going to upset my apple cart. Not my circus, not my monkeys. So, hey, I want to thank, before I go here, I want to thank the person from England that contributed, bought me 5 cups of coffee, which is a nice gesture on my birthday. I appreciate that. Can always use a little extra income here and there. I want money, man. I want lots and lots of money. Not really. Not on that level, baby. Money just has to come to you. I expect to have $1 million in my bank by the end of this year. I put that out there, I just said, let's have $1 million in the bank by the end of this year. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. So in that regard, appreciate any donations. I really do. I'm not getting shitloads of donations, but the ones I do get, I know that the people have a good heart, and that makes me feel good. That makes me feel, yeah. And if you want to do that, you can go to spiritofcrazyhorse.com in the show notes below. I'd rather have you do that way than buy me a cup of coffee, because there's always stuff they take out whenever you go through these apps, They always take out money. Even PayPal takes out money. I mean, if you get $150, you don't really get $150. You get 147 something. Money's being made all along the line here. But if I had my druthers, I would rather get it through Spirit of Crazy Horse, where the donate button is on there, and boom, you just hit that and give whatever you want. And if it's over $10, I always send people a copy of my PDF books. I mean, a PDF copy of my books. Listen to the Wind, Speak from the Heart, and Emergence. One being an award-winning book. So there I go. I got all the stuff in today. I kind of wanted to rehash yesterday, and I wanted to talk to you and let you know, yeah, I get frustrated sometimes because it's a wicked web they weave. I've said that so many times. It becomes no longer fun for me. I mean, at some point, it's like, it is fun for me. It's not like I'm sitting on the edge of my seat and I'm wondering when the apocalypse is going to come and bring it on. Let's see that one too. That'll be a fun scenario. Let's have a meteorite come in from out of fucking nowhere and fuck up their apple cart. How about that? Maybe we should have just a fucking meteor come in and break apart or something and kind of hit parts of the world and not totally annihilate mankind, but let's put it this way: make it so they they wake up. They wake up, and yeah, they would get fearful in that respect. But the ones that are dumbed down are fearful anyway. I mean, they're buying into pandemics and buying into this shit and that shit. They're afraid most of the time. So, hell, if the only thing that's going to kick them out of their fucking complacency and wake them up to truth and the world governments and the governments too, the only thing that's going to wake these motherfuckers up is having a fucking meteor hit somewhere or having an earthquake or and I'm not talking about, there's been earthquakes in Turkey and this and that, and or just having a dimensional shift, having a dimensional consciousness, have a shift come in, like a bat out of hell, like a flip of the fucking magnetic field or something, and it would be kind of hard on people, though. I mean, would be kind of hard on people. Well, anyway, something to think about, huh? I guess I'll leave it there today. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day and just think about what I'm going to do. Incidentally, see what I'm talking about? I go into different rooms here and I get on different machines. Now, this probably right here, the way you're seeing me right now, is probably the best color. It's not perfect, a little off. It's the best way, the most exact. Like if I'm looking in a mirror, this is what I would look like. But I'm telling you, you start doing these videos and you start messing with stuff and you get colors and one day you look kind of reddish and the next day you're like, oh my God, I gotta get this shit figured out here. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Adios.